Okay, everybody, I'm back working on the TIE Fighter. What to you would have been mere seconds has been weeks for me. So jumping back in, my biggest challenge with the TIE Fighters are the how to mount the darn thing. Because the originals come with this very flimsy stand. If you think this is bad, you should see the one for the X-Wing. Knocked over so many times, I actually put it up on the shelf and said, to heck with you. Yeah, anyways. So, I wanted to create something kind of cool, and my original idea was to drill a hole and have it sitting upright, like this. So it's just on a stand, there's a rod going up in here, but there's a couple problems. Number one, there's a big line down here for the display stand, the original one, and I didn't like that. Because then I'd have to fill it in and sand it all down, and I'd have to break these off to do it properly. And so I kind of came up with a secondary idea. I thought about using this display stand here. This is from the Polar Lights kits, and I didn't use this one, obviously. And it also comes with this little pivot stand, so this fits onto here like this, and check this out. So this is what I'm going to do with it. It does fit. It's a snug fit, so it's very, very nice. Look at that. Pretty cool. But the thing about it is, it's at an angle, which is actually going to look really cool. So my next kind of step is to build a little later on. It's going to kind of be a triangular base. Imagine this flipped over on the outside. And so it's going to have a hole in it here, and then this will fit on the hole like this, so it'll be at an angle. And then what's really cool is I can pivot the ship around so I can pose it just a little bit. And yeah, this hole is pretty snug, but if worst comes to worst and it gives way over the years, what I'll do is I'll just pull this thing off, and I think what I'll do is I'll just cement the TIE Fighter onto here. But it's a very strong little device here. So I got to use my handy drill. You might say it came in handy in this situation. Anyways, so my next step is the wings. So here's the piece from the original one, and I did check the original, and they built two TIE Fighters for the movie. They built Darth Vader's major TIE Fighter. It's a pretty big model. It looks like it's about 2 feet long. Or maybe a foot and a half. Anyways, it's big. And then the second one they made is a bit smaller, about a third. I think about a third or a quarter smaller, and it's the damaged one, where the TIE Fighter hits him and he goes spinning off. And I always thought the damage was like this, but it's big. It's a lot of this is missing. I think it's on that one. I noticed something kind of funny on it. There's these circles here, and on that one they used one of these, a wheel from a Sherman tank. So I could go ahead and use these. I'm not going to because that's for the kit, but I could end up just using the original ones. These came with the kit. They're actually not that bad. They just need a little bit more detail added on them, but I said, the heck with that. I really like this Sherman tank wheel on here. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to scratch build some little bits and bobs to add on in there. I'm going to add some little detail in here that does fit, but I need some more detail. And I bought this rounded styrene, so I can make a whole bunch of cool little shapes. I don't have to cut them out myself. So that's what I'm going to be doing for now. And it's going to take me a little while to figure it all out, but it's going to be very, very fun nonetheless. I'm very glad, very, very glad I got the display stand figured out. So yeah, then there's only a few things to clean up. Like I'm going to cut out some, I think I'm just going to cut out some discs and put them on top of here. These are landing gear. TIE Fighters don't have landing gear, but they included that for the kit, and they look absolutely ridiculous. The way I've always known it, or heard it, is TIE Fighters launch, like there's a crane that attaches onto the top here, and you climb up and down the turret. and then like they're suspended from the ceiling, and then when they take off, they drop and fly out. So landing gear, it works for the model kit, obviously, but the reality of it is they don't have landing gear. So I'm going to go ahead and start building up some more little pieces here. I think my latest peeve of modeling is super glue. Not the glue itself. Actually, sometimes the glue itself is a peeve because sometimes it's supposed to be instant dry, and you end up holding it to the model for about 3 to 4 minutes, and still. And then you start wishing you would have just used regular styrene cement, because that would have been much quicker. But the thing I hate the most is the darn caps. Keeping these stupid things clean. Look at this. This is all cut down. It used to be about that long. Cut it all down. Doesn't even fit on there properly. You try and keep these darn things as clean as possible. You store them upright, and I don't know. I've never been able to get them to work properly. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the universe. Maybe it's the caps themselves. Maybe they just all suck. And I just don't know it, and I think I'm the only one here. Let me know, guys. Let me know I'm not the only one. Okay, so I did the wings. Pretty excited about these wings. So this is what they're supposed to look like. And they're kind of these big blocks. I don't really like this. I don't know why this bothers me. I guess it's kind of so sleek and aerodynamic, and then just blur, blah, blah. Okay, that's a little weird. So I actually went through and did a whole bunch of fun scratch building. I told you guys about the wheel here, and so I started off with a sheet of styrene, just a big square sheet. I super glued that to the bottom, make sure it wasn't going to go anywhere. I didn't think styrene would bond to this plastic. Sometimes they do, most of the time they don't, so I didn't want to risk that. So I put this on here, and I began raiding the spare bits box once again, having a lot of fun with that. And I found these chalks here. These are from the A26 monogram kit in 48 scale, and I'm not going to use them, so I threw them on there. So this basically created kind of the look I wanted. I still wanted it to be tall, but more sleek, not boxy. So I put those on there, and then I began raiding, and I found these spare Tiger tank tracks. These went on the outside of the hull of the Tamiya 48 scale kit. And all I did is I cut off all the little tabs on them, cut them in half, and glued them on either side, and I really, really like those. And then I added some styrene rods into the center here, and this little pin there in the center is just a piece of excess flash from the Dragon sprue. And then to top it all off, I super glued these spare photo etched harnesses I was probably never going to use, and voila, I'm really happy with this detail. I'm very, very excited about all this. I think it looks great on there. It's basically what I was kind of hoping for. You leave it up to your imagination, but then it's all done, and I like this a lot. I think that's going to look really good sitting there on the side of the model like that. I also did a little bit of detailing in here. You're not really going to see it, but it is there. And then I noticed all these nice big fat ugly injector pins. And I have no idea what the devil I'm going to do about those things, because I can't sand them down without removing detail, and I don't want to do that. I could just put some styrene, plug them up like that, but I'll figure it out later. So what's the next step for me? Actually, it's pretty cool. I still haven't built the display stand. I'm doing that later today, I believe. I'm going to try and do it because it is the weekend. I did find these. These are from another Dragon kit. There are these little hooks. And so I'm going to think about putting these on the outside of the hull here. Kind of around the sphere, maybe on the hatch and everything. So I've got to sand some pieces down. These need to be sanded down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out these. These are the engines. I'm just going to drill them out a little bit. I'm not going to go I don't think I'm going to go all the way through. But just a little impression so I can probably paint them up their proper color. But there's another problem, and that I'll get to in just a little while, but I'm pretty sure here now I'm ready to glue this thing together. I'm getting ready to do that. I think I could just glue everything on top of each other and be done. And yeah, the next problem are filling in these gaps in here, especially on this side. Look at that. Just a whole chunk of it is missing there. And I think for this, I think I'm going to use epoxy putty, like the green stuff. I think that's all I'm going to do for that. That should do it. Just do the trick. The other thing I'm going to have to do is a lot, once I get these two pieces together, is a lot of sanding and filling it in. And that's going to take me at least, I'm guessing, a good day or two to properly do all that. So that's where I'm at right now. Again, guys, I'm sorry I don't really show all this scratch building stuff, because it's kind of hard to do. You know, you don't know what you're going to do next, and it would just be kind of boring for you guys. So I do these little updates, but it does kill me a little inside. I don't show too much of what I'm doing. I just show you what I've done. But as for these wings, I'm very, very happy. So I'm gonna go and figure out kind of what next to do and do it. And I will be back with more stuff, and hopefully I'll get this together. I'm actually I think I'm at the halfway mark to being done. So that's good news for me. So I've decided what I ought to be doing here is showing you guys some actual building of the kit. I'm actually going to put this stuff all together now. All together now, all together now, all together now, all together now. So I drilled out these holes here, and what ended up happening is I just drilled them out just a little bit, but on one I drilled it too much, and I went, oh crap. Ended up pushing it all the way through, so I think they look pretty good. You can kind of see them here on a distance. Like I said, I was hoping to have them not all the way through, so I could color them up red. I think they're red, if I remember correctly. So what I'm going to do when I get to that part is clean up everything in my room. I have way too many kits, okay? I'm gonna stop buying things like an idiot that I am. Oh, they're over. Ugh. That's the problem when you reorganize your drawers. It's like, okay, it's in this side, it's in this side now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use microcrystal clear. And I've shown this before where you can make windows out of this stuff. But what I'm going to do, I think, I'm going to try this, because it should work. Add some clear red in it. So mix these two together, and that should work. That'll be pretty cool if it does work, because I will use that in future builds. So everybody, let's get to work here. I've got my glue and my various tweezers, and don't need this. I still need to buy a new one made out of, I really want to buy a metal set of rulers and everything, because I'm so sick and tired of I just cut them up all the time. I'd rather sacrifice a fresh, like a sharp blade, than having these weird, uneven angles. Okay, so let's put this on here. So I still haven't built the display stand yet, but that's what I'm gonna go do this afternoon. Center this. Hopefully I'm getting all this on the camera, because I hate it when I do that. Look at this, guys. And you guys are sitting there going, look at what, you moron? Your fingers? It's always been fun. So I do apologize for that. And I actually convinced my dad. My dad is the hardest person to convince to do anything new. I've actually convinced my dad to get this Tamiya extra thin cement, and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. But the funny thing is, he put it in, oh shoot, I got a drop of it right there. Yeah, that's a quick touch up. I'll turn it into a cloud. It'll be a nice cloud. He finally admitted that it's nice, and he put it into the Humbrol container, one of these things here with the needle. I haven't used this in years. I don't know if it's still good. Oh, it is. One of these things. As far as I'm concerned with glue, for me personally, in my experience, Humbrol is the strongest glue on the market. I want to do like how I did a video with the paints that I use. I do plan on doing a similar video, but with glues that I've used. So I like Tamiya a lot though. So it's quick reacting, and it's very strong. So I quite like that. So I'm just going to apply this into all the cracks and crevices and everything that I can basically get the brush onto. Let me carefully flip this upside down. So now I'm going to get it on here. Ah, that's how I flicked that. Oh, so there I just did it again. Except this time I did it on the outside, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's just a quick blob. You won't know the difference. Except you will, because I mentioned it. I really gotta stop doing that. It's not there. I did not smear any glue there. Oh man, that is awesome. I am so happy with this thing so far. Okay. Ta-da! So I finally get to see the actual seat in there without it, rattling around. So that is so cool. Okay. Oops, I forgot to sand these down. These little circles. Oh well, I can do that later. So let me figure out how I want to do this. Because this is the tricky part. Oh, I didn't. Oh crap! I didn't do that. Let's see if this peg still fits. Oh, it looks. I think there'll be room, plenty of room to spare. But you want to be really safe than sorry. Maybe not. So okay, that fits there. And let's carefully flip it around. Okay, so you know what? It actually will fit if I do this. This will take me but a moment. There we go. Carefully. There. I want to just get a bit more on this edge. This was kind of the thing preventing it, I think, from fitting there. This was kind of bumping against it like this, so now it'll fit. Like, it looks like it fits right here. So that's a pretty good indication there, but not like that. So let's carefully try this again. Oh yeah, I can definitely see. Okay, maybe not. It's pretty secure. Maybe all I need to do is cut this down just a little bit, because I can't cut this. There's no way on earth that's gonna happen. Anyways, I will figure that all out later, because I'm getting a red battery, which is very strange because I just charged this thing. So I'm just gonna add some glue into these four corners here. Hopefully my camera will wait till I get this into place. Then it can shut off and do whatever the devil it wants. Okay, so I'm going to go and reinforce some of this stuff, make it a little bit stronger. I don't know if it's quite level yet, so I'm going to go figure all that out. That's going to take me a little while to do, and again, add more glue in there. So, charge the battery. So I was going to show this, but it's a good thing I didn't, because it was just a mess. It took me forever to get them in. Are these side these side walls over here? They were a pain in every sense of the word. They were just rotten. Did not want to stick. Super glued them in. Finally got them to stay there. And it's a problem when you're combining old and new styrene like this. It takes longer for them to react. Older styrene's dried out more. So here, check this out though. I put them on. Ta-da! Look at that. Let me try and get some better light in there. So I'm quite happy with this. You can see down the sides. Yeah, so you can see down there, but I think once everything's closed up, like you'll see down there, but it won't be noticeable. Like your eye won't be, caught to it. And I'm gonna airbrush those a darker gray later on, but for now they're all down and they're on. And so now, I think, unless I'm forgetting something, let's take a look at our box here. And let's see, I think I'm about ready to glue everything together. So hold on, let me put this away. Just had to do something. Yep. See? Just some spare pieces in there. So let's do this. I'm excited now. Okay. Lots of glue. Now I did sand these edges down a bit. It did take out some time to do that because I wanted them. You want to try and have a more flat finish. I later learned that's why some models, when they come without the pins, most models, like I'll use Airfix for example, they have pins in all the parts, like the wings and the fuselage, so they don't slide around. And the ones that don't, like some of these Czech companies, Eduard, is a good example of that. AZ model recently, they're like that. Why they don't have that is so you can sand down the edges, and then you have a more flat finish. So you take like the fuselage on sandpaper and you just sand it back and forth, and that's to hopefully eliminate any kind of seam line, so then you don't have to go and clean that up later. It's pretty thoughtful, but I like pins better, especially when you clamp them together and sometimes they slide apart and makes it worse. It's like, yes, that was very helpful. Okay, so speaking of clamps, let's clamp this thing down, because that is, again, that would be the last thing on my mind, having this thing slipping and sliding around. Okay. Oh, here. This is gonna take me a long time, I think, to properly get everything clean and sanded the way I want it. Because again, it's an abused model. It's had a lot of work done. Like, look at this. Like, this is just a huge seam line in there. That's not gonna go away, with just some putty. That needs extra work. So for the top here, the dome, I'm gonna use tape and hold them down. So I'm gonna do this off screen really quick. Okay. So my work is far from being over with this. So now what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to let it dry here a while in place with all the clamps and everything on. And then what I'm going to do is take the extra thin cement and I'm just going to go over everything. Every little line, every little crack and groove. And I'm just going to go put glue everywhere on those seams and really bond this kit together. Don't want to have to worry about, you know, more pieces falling apart. I want this thing tight so I don't ever have to look at the inside of this again. But it's really weird, actually, you know, being an adult from seeing this when I was a kid, you know, seeing it like this together again. And I'm quite happy. So here we go. Leave it like that, and then yeah, more putty, more filling. And for these cracks here, yeah, like I said before, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to use green stuff, and I'll get to that, sculpting out some of that detail later. I think I'll show that, if it's not going to be a big bug and disrupt the rest of it. So there we go. I'll be back once I get this all cleaned up and sanded. And for puttying, because some of you guys asked me, I'm using just Tamiya Basic putty. This is the gray stuff. I like this stuff a lot. It hardens pretty well, sands down very smooth, so that's what I like to use. So let's play the waiting game some more.